And we got a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and we put a little bit more light on, and we got the dryer kicking in the background. That's right, Metal Mike coming at you. Right? Not as always, not as frequently as I would like to, but I'm still coming at you. What do I got here? Just a Gorilla Jiggler that would hang in your car window or in a little kid's bedroom back in the 70s. I also used to make alligators out of this material. It's not as strong as the newer rubber. It's if you were to rip it open, hard to describe unless you lived it. Really a rad toy though, and I love it. So what's been going on with me, you want to know? Well, I do need to step up the videos, keep preaching that and not doing it, but the focus is there, and it's going to happen. The passion's still there. It's not that I don't want to do these videos for you guys, it's just time, right? Time is the essence. But I'm going to show you a couple of pieces. As I told you in the last few videos, there's this new, well, the market, whatever you want to call it, the industry of picking, junking, collecting, etc. has gone a new way with this new Facebook Live auctions. It's kind of exciting. I have not dived into it yet. Basically, all the people that belong to the group are allowed to stay in that group as long as they always pay for their items that they buy. But it's kind of hard because you really got to call shipping as you see it, or you can say actual and then charge the people the actual shipping. But I bought 2 trucks there for 14 bucks, and I think I paid like $6 shipping. So I've actually purchased from one of the live auctions and got it in a real timely. So I got these nice early pressed steel. It's the same truck. Obviously this one is missing its rear bed and the front grille and the rear tires. But why I popped on it for so cheap is this one has the front grille. Now typically the front grills are always gone, and I advise you, if you're a collector, picker, junker, whatever, I mean, if you buy these old trucks because you love them, more power to you. Definitely, I get that. I've done it for years myself, but over the last few years I've tried to discipline myself in that I try to buy them when they have the grill, because definitely that makes the truck. Without the grill, they kind of become a low-end beginner collector piece, etc. Now what's neat about this, same truck, so this one has the grill, has the dump truck, but is missing 1 tire. So what I'll do is I'll patch one of these trucks up, maybe this one because it has a little bit more of the patina. This one is all rust, but this one here has just a little bit enough of the paint that might attract someone. So I'll do up one of the trucks, put it on eBay, and then I'll leave the other one as like the bonus truck that you get. And we're going to just see as an experiment if I can make a profit on it. Do I think I will? I don't think so. But you never know. If you get 2 people that want the item, you never know. Anything can go to the moon. That's what's interesting about eBay, is because what it really comes down to, it's not the actual value, it depends on who you get bidding. You get 2 people that are stubborn. Remember, bidding on this stuff is addictive. It's no different than gambling, drugs, drinking, etc. It's a compulsive behavior. So if you get lucky, you can hit the moon with anything if you got 2 aggressive buyers. Now, outside of that, so let's get back to that. Let's round right back to what we were talking about, and that's the Facebook Live auctions. And that's a direction that is something I'm going to experiment with. There's a few that are a little too campy. You know, they got the pretty girl. I touched on this before. You know, I don't need that campiness to it. You also, if you watch, it's good to study it before you do it, because you're seeing what works and what doesn't. You'll notice there'll be some guys that are auctioneers that have a negative... They'll do an auction if you watch these live auctions, but they won't get it started until they feel there's enough people in the room. I feel you start the auction immediately. Maybe you get 10 people in the room. Rather than just panning around, showing it, and saying, oh, what do you want, what do you guess? Have the stuff you want to sell ready to go, and start selling it. Start moving it. Now, I really think it's a great way to flush out some of your lower inventory after you've run it through eBay, after you've tried the flea market, something you simply don't want to deal with anymore. This is a great thing to do in a lot and blow it out. And maybe, like I said, you get a couple of guys that bid, you might get a real nice price for it. It's interesting. And I definitely want to go that route. So, things to stay away from if you're going to do it. First, start off, watch the auctions. So they're in the group, they're in groups on Facebook. So you do live auctions, you do in the search, and then go to groups. And then you ask to join, and then you're in. And then we'll automatically run live when they're happening. And so I advise you to watch as many as you can. if you want to delve into it and do it yourself and see what works and what doesn't. Definitely a positive attitude is going to carry you longer. But because I see the guys that like they'll show stuff, and, well, I'm not going to put that item up with only 10 people in the room, you know. I'd have to start it at retail top dollar to even do it. Then forget it. Just throw that shit out there. Let it roll the dice, get it out. Remember, this is a way to liquidate your smaller and slower items that are just dead in the water. And I think that you can compete. Don't start your items high. Remember, this stuff you don't care about at this point. You can use it on that level, or you can be high end and try to hit the moon on items. Whatever your case, look into it. It's an interesting direction that we're headed in now with this new live feed and being everyone can suddenly be an auctioneer. And who doesn't want to be an auctioneer? That is rad. I grew up, my stepfather was an auctioneer, and it was awesome. Being a little kid holding it up, you're talking 1970s here when people actually had cards and would go there would be an auction here in St. Paul. I believe there was one Sunday night. There was Sunday, Friday, Saturday, so you had 3 days in a row of auctions, and I think there was even one in the middle of the week on Wednesday, so that's incredible. The business that was generated, that would never fly today. You don't see much of it, at least not here in Minnesota. The dealers have dried up, the antique stores have disappeared. The ones that are here, boy, they've got things marked up so absolutely ridiculous. It's amazing. I advise you go into an antique store and before you bite on something, do a search on eBay and see what they're really bringing. You'll be stunned. Typically, you're not going to find a freaking deal. They don't put nothing to move it out. It's absurd. A U.S. Doughboy helmet, if you're into military stuff, World War I, typically without a liner, will sell anywhere here in Minnesota at a flea market between 20 and 50 bucks. You know, if it's got a liner, 50, 60 bucks. If it's painted with camouflage or something, obviously that changes it. But a typical helmet is between 20 and 40 bucks here in Minnesota with no liner. You go into the antique stores here in Minnesota, they've got them marked at $225, which is disgusting. It's gross, man. And that is what has killed antique stores. Another thing that has killed antique stores, you go into an antique store and let's say you spot something you really love. You say, wow, I really love that statue you got in the window. You got it marked 900 bucks though. What can we do to get this done? And this is what's going to shoot it in the foot. And this is why antique stores have gone by the wayside, because they're not competitive in their prices. They're overpriced. And then when you ask for a deal and you're ready to rock and roll, you got money in your pocket, you say, how much can I get that for? Rock bottom, man. Let's get something done today. They'll look at you and go, well, for you, I know you're a dealer or a collector, I'll give you 10%. And you're like, what? Don't give me a percentage. What's your frickin', what do you got into it? Let it roll. Now, there's been arguments that I've gotten into before about guys saying, well, hey, man, you know, it's harder to get the better pieces. I get it. But typically, these pieces that they won't budge on are not really high-end pieces. It's a double-edged and it's a complicated sword to balance on this business if that's what you are in it as in a business of being a dealer, buying and selling. It's difficult. I ask you to be competitive. Sell less than under if you can. If you're ahead in the game and you've got low dollars into it, it's worth to let it go at a bargain so you can keep it moving, keep those wheels oiled, and keep picking and keep junking until you find a better treasure. Phone's ringing. I'm out of it. I've been filibustering here, spinning and rolling, ranting and raving like I always do. Everyone stay above ground. Hey now, Metal Mike, as always, in the bunker.